You're in a conversation and someone asks you a simple question, but instead of answering immediately, you pause. Not because you don't know what to say, but because your mind is already weighing a dozen different versions of the truth. By the time you've carefully chosen your words, the moment has passed, the conversation has moved on, and you stay quiet. Have you ever met someone who seems to live in their own quiet world? They're the ones who absorb more than they speak, who notice the subtle dance of light across a room while everyone else rushes past. These are the deep thinkers, and here's what most people don't realize. This isn't just a personality trait. It's about possessing a mind that operates on a completely different frequency, one that sees the invisible architecture beneath everything. It's a double-edged sword, a profound gift, and at times, an exhausting burden. To truly understand a deep thinker, we must explore the beautiful tension between their rich inner world and the relentless pace of the outer one. That pause before speaking, it's not what you think it is. That quiet world, it's not empty, it's sacred. And that sensitivity you've been told is a weakness, it might just be the most human thing about you. So, what exactly is happening during that pause, that moment before a deep thinker speaks? Let me show you. When most people see a tree, they see a tree. But a deep thinker, they perceive the roots anchoring it to the earth, the branches reaching for light. The way its quiet existence mirrors their own inner life. They don't just observe, they translate. Every detail becomes a doorway into deeper meaning. This isn't poetry, it's neuroscience. Deep thinkers exhibit what researchers call high-trait introspection, a powerful tendency to constantly analyze not just the world around them, but their own internal experiences. This intense mental activity is linked to a brain network called the default mode network. It's the part of your brain that lights up when you're daydreaming, reflecting, or lost in thought. For most people, it activates occasionally. For deep thinkers, it's constantly humming in the background, making connections, asking questions, searching for understanding. And here's what makes this network so fascinating. It's the same system that fuels creativity, strengthens memory, and generates imagination. So, imagine a deep thinker's mind as a perpetual storm of connections, constantly weaving together ideas, comparing insights, reflecting on everything. For deep thinkers, why isn't an occasional question. It's oxygen, not to be difficult, but because understanding feels essential to their very existence. But here's where the gift becomes complicated. Because while their mind is busy making all these connections, weighing all these possibilities, crafting the most precise response, the conversation moves on. By the time they've carefully formulated their thoughts, everyone else has jumped to 3 different topics, and so they remain silent. This silence is perhaps the most misunderstood thing about deep thinkers. People see it as disinterest, but the truth is exactly the opposite. That silence is actually a sign of immense engagement. They're not ignoring you, they're processing 10 different layers of what you just said. They pause because words matter to them. A deep thinker doesn't just want to talk, they want to truly understand. While most people comfortably swim in the shallow waters of small talk, deep thinkers are constantly diving for pearls at the ocean floor of thought. Surface-level conversations don't just bore them, they actually drain them. Because their brain is wired to search for depth, and when depth isn't available, it's exhausting and frustrating. They crave conversations that penetrate beneath the obvious. They want to discuss fears, dreams, the architecture of human emotion. This is why deep thinkers often feel so isolated, even in crowded rooms. They're surrounded by voices, but starving for connection. And here's the paradox. The same cognitive wiring that allows them to see so deeply also makes them vulnerable to overthinking. Their mind meticulously dissects everything. They replay conversations for days, examining every sentence. Did I reveal too much? What was the subtext beneath their words? This isn't insecurity. It's pattern recognition taken to its extreme. Their brain has learned that every situation contains hidden layers, that every emotion has complex roots, that nothing is ever quite as simple as it appears. Psychologists call this meta-cognition, the ability to think about your own thinking. Most people do this occasionally. Deep thinkers live here. They're constantly observing their own thoughts from a distance, questioning them, rearranging them, trying to understand the underlying architecture of their own mind. This makes them incredibly self-aware, but it also makes them painfully vulnerable to self-doubt. Because when you can see everything, you also see all your own flaws in vivid high definition. And yet, this same exhausting process is also what makes them capable of extraordinary insight. They don't just ask, "What do I want?" They ask, "Why do I want this? Where does this desire originate?" They analyze love, ambition, fear, and memory with surgical precision. Here's what's remarkable about deep thinkers. They don't just think and feel separately. Research shows that individuals who consistently engage in reflective thinking possess stronger neural connections between the emotional and analytical regions of their brain. They literally think and feel simultaneously. This is what psychologists call depth processing, the tendency to encode experiences with rich meanings and powerful emotional associations. When deep thinkers recall something, they don't just remember the facts. They vividly recall how it felt, what it symbolized, the intricate layers of what it might have meant. They carry memories not as isolated moments, but as entire ecosystems of feeling. This is why nostalgia impacts them with such intensity. Why listening to a particular song can transport them back to a past version of themselves that no longer exists. Their emotions are woven into their logical processes. To them, feeling is a form of thinking, and this leads to being profoundly misunderstood. People might label them as distant, overly dramatic, or too complicated. Yet their true essence lies in their heightened awareness. They perceive the hidden structures beneath everything. How fear disguises itself as anger, how love hides behind pride, how people project what they cannot accept within themselves. Once you acquire such insight, it becomes incredibly difficult to unsee it. You can recognize a deep thinker not by their words, but by the thoughtful pauses between them. That moment of stillness before they speak isn't hesitation, it's precision. They are searching for the purest, most accurate expression of what they genuinely mean. Because words hold immense significance for them, they instinctively grasp how language shapes reality, how a single sentence possesses the power to both heal and harm. Consequently, they speak with deliberate care, which can lead others to mistakenly perceive them as shy or withdrawn. But the truth is, they are listening to everything: the subtle tone, the unspoken subtext, the significant silences between sentences. Psychologically, this heightened awareness is linked to high empathy and exceptional pattern recognition abilities. Deep thinkers are continuously processing emotional data. They notice micro-expressions, subtle shifts in voice, tiny changes in energy that reveal what someone isn't explicitly saying. This is why they can often sense when something is amiss, even when no one else seems to notice. They navigate the world like emotional detectives, scanning for patterns that others overlook. However, when you possess the ability to see through things, it becomes incredibly difficult to remain blissfully unaware. You begin to notice inconsistencies, how people's words often diverge from their actions, how society glorifies happiness while concealing its pain, how the pursuit of perfection is an illusion we are all taught to chase. And once you begin to perceive these truths with clarity, it fundamentally transforms how you relate to the world. You stop craving superficial validation and develop a profound hunger for truth. This is why deep thinkers are often drawn to art, philosophy, writing, or periods of sustained solitude. It's not because they are avoiding life, but because they are earnestly striving to understand it. They need spaces where their minds can freely stretch and explore without judgment. But for all their incredible insight, deep thinkers grapple with mental noise. Their thoughts never truly cease. Even when they attempt to rest, their brain continues rewinding, rewriting, and predicting. And while most people can find distraction in external noise, deep thinkers often find themselves drowning in silence. Because silence, for them, amplifies everything within. There's a famous story about a philosopher who declared, "I think, therefore I am." For a deep thinker, it can almost feel like a curse. Because while thinking confirms their existence, it also possesses the power to consume it. They can think themselves into intricate corners, analyzing love until it feels mechanical, studying fear until it becomes predictable, They can accumulate so much knowledge about emotion that they forget how to simply feel it. And sometimes, the most challenging feat for a deep thinker is to simply experience life without meticulously dissecting every moment. But when they discover that balance, when they allow thought to genuinely serve feeling instead of replacing it, they truly become extraordinary. Because deep thinkers, at their very best, serve as vital bridges. They elegantly connect logic with empathy, intellect with profound intuition. They possess the unique ability to analyze pain while still holding deep compassion for it. This capacity is exceptionally rare. It's wisdom, far beyond mere intelligence. Perhaps the most challenging aspect of being a deep thinker is learning when to simply stop thinking, when to release the need to understand every single thing, when to gracefully accept that some answers simply do not exist yet, because meaning, no matter how relentlessly we pursue it, is ultimately something we create, not something we passively discover. And therein lies the quiet irony. The same mind that tirelessly searches for truth eventually learns that true peace isn't found in a collection of answers. It's found in presence. It's found in simply sitting beneath a vast sky that offers no explanations, yet still feels infinitely expansive. It's in learning to coexist with unanswered questions and still feel perfectly complete. Perhaps this is the ultimate stage of deep thinking, not about accumulating more knowledge, but about needing less. Not about meticulously analyzing everything to its depth, but about understanding that true depth isn't about drowning in a sea of thoughts. It's about achieving enough clarity to effortlessly float. Deep thinkers often require solitude, not because they are lonely, but because solitude is their natural habitat. They require this sacred space to breathe, to process, to gently untangle thoughts that others might not even realize exist. Alone, they find their reset button. They journal, reflect, gaze out windows, pondering everything and nothing at all. It isn't loneliness, it's profound restoration. Because for a deep thinker, solitude is the very space where clarity resides. Remember, at the beginning when we asked, have you ever met someone who seems to live in their own quiet world? Someone who absorbs more than they speak, who notices the subtle dance of light across a room while everyone else rushes past. Perhaps you've been meeting yourself. That pause before speaking, now you know it's not hesitation, it's precision. That quiet world, it's not empty isolation, it's where clarity lives. And that sensitivity you thought was weakness, it's the capacity to see layers that others simply walk past. Here's what changes when you understand this. The next time you pause in conversation, you won't apologize. When you crave solitude, you won't feel guilty. When you see complexity where others see simplicity, you won't feel broken. Because you're not overthinking. You're thinking at the depth required to truly understand. So, here's my question for you. What would change in your next conversation if you honored your need for depth instead of apologizing for it? I'd genuinely love to hear your story in the comments. If this exploration resonated with you, subscribe to continue this journey, because we're just getting started uncovering the invisible patterns that shape how we think, feel, and connect. The world speeds by, but you possess something it desperately needs: depth. And in a shallow world, your depth is its own kind of light.